Greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina, and welcome into the PNC Arena, where the North Carolina State Wolfpack look to add another win to their 5-game home winning streak as they host the St. Louis Billikens tonight. Hello, everybody. I am Birch Antley, along with my broadcast partner, Scott Wood. And Scott, every holiday party needs not one, but two good DJs. And head coach Kevin Keats for the NC State Wolfpack, he has a pair. He's got DJ Burns down low, but up top, who's been really on rhythm as of late, that is DJ Horn.
Yeah, he's been the one of the last 4 games has really had some things going, especially shooting the ball. 41% from the three-point line this year, but he does it in multiple ways. He creates for his teammates, and he's just a phenomenal shooter. So expect him to do big things tonight.
Meanwhile, for St. Louis, they have a hot shooter and a hot hand in Gibson Jimerson.
And then we bring it out to the other sharpshooter, Gibson Jimerson, leading them in scoring. Another guy, he does a lot of cutting off the ball. They utilize him in down screens. Obviously, NC State wants to do a lot of switching, so they're going to have a tough matchup with him tonight.
Yeah, head coach Kevin Keats told us that you can't be lazy with switches on Gibson Jimerson. And we are ready to tip it off here in Raleigh, North Carolina in the white. It is the home Wolfpack, and in the left controlling the opening tip, wearing the black jerseys with the white numerals and letters with the trimmed in blue. It's the Billikens out of St. Louis as we are underway with Medley running into traffic. He'll kick it out to Terrence Hargrove, who had that big buzzer beater against Louisiana Tech. NC State, your first 5 on the floor. Of course, we talked about the 2 DJs, Burns inside and Horn outside, but they're getting good music from Jayden Taylor and Dennis Parker as well, and throw in Casey Morcell, and you've got a good quintet.
Yeah, it's a good, steady offense. I think that's one of the things that makes this NC State roster really dangerous. Any night you have somebody that can go for 20, so it's obviously going to be a very, very tough matchup for St. Louis. But you see on that first possession, St. Louis goes to a lot of kind of DHO dribble handoff actions, and then Hargrove, you know, started the season because they had some injuries and some guys out, had to play the center position. So now he's kind of back in his natural position, playing that 3-4. He's going to be a tough matchup.
St. Louis with the first bucket of the night. They've got Medley again, dribble drive, almost has his shot blocked away, and it's Burns collecting the board for the Wolfpack, off and running with the other DJ in Horn. Deep downtown ball from the right wing, and it's collected by St. Louis. Their first 5 on the floor. We told you in the open about their big scorer in Gibson Jimerson, and they got a big night against Louisiana Tech from Terrence Hargrove Jr. We'll talk more about that as this game progresses. And a big night from their debut guy in Bradley Ezawaru, who is a transfer from LSU and then played at Georgetown after his stop in Baton Rouge. And he had 17 points in his debut contest on Saturday against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, and Ezawaru is very, very athletic. I know they're more than happy to finally have him out there. It kind of makes their lineup, everybody gets into the correct positions that they're used to playing. So especially him being able to guard DJ Burns and some of the size NC State has is going to be a big thing for St. Louis.
Here's Burns in the post.
And that's just why he's so hard to guard. He can catch it from the 3-point line. He'll back you down from there. I keep calling him a point center. You know, he's one of those guys that gets it in the post, but he also becomes some type of playmaker. So lots of cuts on the backside. He's looking for the shooter. So, again, it starts with DJ Burns down low, so they're going to have to find a way to kind of slow him down.
I tell you, he looks like a guy that could carry all of Santa's sleigh, including the reindeer.
He's a big fella. He's definitely a load down low. I would not want to be the one that he's banging against all night. I'll definitely need an ice bath after that. I'm sure which one of these guys are going to have.
North Carolina State strength and conditioning coach Pat Murphy says he's one of those gym rats, though, that he works hard at it, and he spends a lot of time in the weight room with him.
And you see early on, Jimerson coming off that handoff. DJ Burns really showing high, trying to be aggressive on all that action. Because he's such a good shooter, you can't give him that daylight. So continue that. If they can kind of keep and take away his airspace, it's going to make a lot of things tougher for Jimerson tonight.
Just underway here in Raleigh. It's 2-0. Billikens with the lead and the ball on the inbounds underneath their own basket. Here's their big scorer, and he's going to take it straight to the square, but off the mark and collected defensively by the Wolfpack. Here's NC State off and running. They like to move. Rims out of there. The three attempt there from Jaden Taylor.
That's the action they want. They really like to push the ball. Jaden Taylor making a play in transition. Casey giving it back. So they're going to take those looks all night, and after a while they're going to start to knock those down.
Medley, nice pass. He dropped it in to Ezeworo.
There's a great pass. Little dump down, and Ezeworo just being strong, physical, finishing through contact. Little drop pass there, finishing with the left hand, going through contact, getting a chance to get three.
It'll be interesting to see, Scott, if they will attack NC State and DJ Burns like that throughout this ball game to try to get him in early foul trouble as he picks up one there.
And they've got a lot of mobile size. They got a bunch of bigs that'll kind of go dribble handoff. So I think naturally they're going to get DJ Burns moving in traffic, and it's just going to force him to always be, paying attention on that defensive end.
Now it's a freshman, Bruce Zhang, on the floor. The 7-footer, the center from China via the Skill Factory in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, that was no doubt goaltending. Felt like the ball was floating there forever.
Yeah.
But that's one, I think, if he went back and watched this on film, I don't know if that gets there. I think that ends up being short. Probably got to let it go, but great athleticism.
So NC State with the bucket there, courtesy of the goaltending violation. So it's 5-2, Billikens. There's a big three-pointer from the left corner from Terrence Hargrove, the 6'5" senior forward out of East St. Louis, Illinois. What a night he had against Louisiana Tech. He had the buzzer beater and then some.
You know he's running high on confidence right now, finishing the game with 11 straight points. So he's going to be in attack mode early on and have the utmost confidence, especially shooting the basketball.
NC State cuts the lead in half with that basket. It's 8-4 now, just underway here from the PNC Arena. 16:21 remaining. Casey Morcell, see the numbers bottom right of your screen there. He's had a good season early going, almost 14 points per game. Here's Jimerson. Burns taps it away, and it's NC State basketball.
A little bit sloppy there, but again, that's the style NC State wants to play. I think they're overhelped on this side a little bit. Jimerson getting those shots, he's going to make a lot of those, so you got to be careful overhelping too much. But again, they get it out in transition, and those are ultimately the looks they want. They want to get to the rim, be able to push this tempo.
Gibson Jimerson backs away, passes to his left, and it's another Billikens three. This time it's Sion Medley, the freshman from Slickerville, New Jersey. And that 38% three-point shooting.
That happens because of Jimerson. You see the eyes that get on him. DJ Horn kind of has to come in. He's coming off that curl, almost like a double team, and Jimerson just makes the right play to be able to find his teammate.
Trying to go over Zhang is DJ Burns. A little strong on that attempt, so it's Medley and Jimerson now. Here for the Billikens with a 6-point advantage. Jimerson being shaded by Casey Morcell.
And that's who I expected to start on. Casey's one of those really good defenders, and a great play by Parker Jr. Pushing it, able to get the rebound and put it back in. Again, that's how they want to play. Obviously coaching, talking with Coach Tate at the beginning, they got to be able to handle that pressure and handle that defensive scheme that NC State's going to throw at them, because if they get out and they get in that track meet, it's going to be a really tough night for them.
A good hustle play there by NC State. Here's John with the finish for the Billikens, extending that lead now to 6. There were 14:20 to play. DJ Horn slowing down the pace now as they work it inside the Burns. Nice work by DJ Burns on the freshman Bruce John. 12-8, St. Louis with the lead over NC State. 13:57 remaining here in the opening stanza. Leading all scorers in this contest early going, it is Terrence Hargrove Jr., who had the game Saturday against Louisiana Tech, scoring 11 points in the final 28 seconds, including the game winner, a three-pointer. I did the math. That is like 2.5 seconds. Every 2.5 seconds, he's scoring 1 point.
I'll tell everybody that's listening, if you haven't had the opportunity to see this, they were down 6 with 38 seconds left with Louisiana Tech at the line. Has a monster dunk, followed by a 3, got to the line for 2 free throws, and then hits a 3 at the buzzer to win the game. One of the best closeouts I've seen by a player. So if you haven't had the opportunity, go find it and watch it, because it's very, very good stuff.
Burns missing the free throw, and NC State unable to collect the offensive rebound. So the ball is back with the Billikens.
And that's the first turnover they've had, especially early on. I think that's a big reason why they have that 4-point lead, is being able to handle the pressure by NC State. So they just got to, stay patient and really pick their spots when they want to attack.
There's St. Louis head coach Travis Ford, the former Kentucky Wildcat. Was a great player in his day.
And that's really good action. NC State runs a lot of the Iverson cut, side pick and roll. Again, DJ Horn just being patient with MJ Rice and Middlebrook setting a really good screen.
Yeah, 8th season for Coach Travis Ford, the 3rd most winningest coach at St. Louis with 140 victories.
And there it is. It's just the pressure from NC State. Always being aggressive on the defensive end. You just got to be able to take the ball and be patient. And that's one of the things that Coach Ford's going to drive him crazy, especially on the inbounds pass, not being able to get it in.
And there's Kevin Keats, who has the ability to really throw everything he can at you. He has a very deep team this year.
And that's one of the reasons why they're able to pressure as much as they do. They can go almost 11 deep, so they can constantly get guys in and out. So if a little bit of fatigue kicks in, you got somebody that you can put on the ball and really start to pressure again.
And now all of a sudden it's just a 1-point St. Louis lead for NC State, with MJ Rice at the line, making his first free throw of the season. He was 0 for 3 coming in. Of course, MJ making his debut 3 games ago against Maryland Eastern Shore, had 11 nice points there. He was a former McDonald's All-American, started his career at Kansas and then moved eastward.
And Cam Woods just being a little bit too aggressive in the passing lane there, able to get beat, and then obviously drawing the foul. But MJ Rice, and on the other side you get Ezewiro, the 2 guys that both teams are just excited to have back. Away from basketball for a quick second, but then they're coming back. So I know both of these coaches, they add a different element to the game. So they're going to be big pieces, especially going forward for both of these teams.
Here's Larry Hughes now. Larry Hughes II, his father, a legend at St. Louis, had a great NBA career as well.
He would cross you up in a second, I'll tell you that. His dad had some serious game.
Yes, yes indeed.
Here's that same action. Iverson cut.
Horn missing the 3-pointer. And it's off the fingertips there of Ben Middlebrooks, who just entered the contest. Middlebrooks had 13 points in the loss at Ole Miss. 6'10" junior. Now back on the floor, Terrence Hargrove. Well, the Billikens coming in. And actually, it was going to remain with NC State, so it was not off the Wolfpack in Middlebrooks. He gets a reprieve. Nice flow there by Horn, but unable to get it to drop down, and it is Billikens basketball, holding on to a 1-point lead here in Raleigh. And a little Christmas vacation there for Hughes on the travel.
And immediately comes out, and I think Coach Ford's just telling him to be a little bit more patient, especially attacking and not getting in passes on that end. The one way to really struggle against NC State is not moving the ball. You got to be able to move them side to side and then pick your spots.
Wolfpack basketball with a chance to take the lead here.
And that's one of the first adjustments. Again, NC State runs that Iverson cut side pick and roll, and they were in that what they call an ice, keeping it towards the baseline, so not allowing it to come to the pick and roll.
Another good hustle play and a great finish for Dennis Parker Jr., the 6'6" freshman guard out of Richmond, Virginia. You love to see that kind of action, especially from the young bucks.
And I think they've got 4 guys that really do this well. Obviously, Dennis Parker Jr. starting. They just have high energy. They clean up on the glass. Him, as well as Middlebrooks. You've got Diarra sitting right there. So they got those 4 guys that really clean things up and just bring high energy for this roster.
So with 12-14 remaining here in the first, NC State takes the lead, 14-13. Second foul on Rice. That'll bring up Michael O'Connell from the bench, the 6'2" graduate guard coming to NC State from Stanford. And started its NC State career off nicely in the opening game against the Citadel with 14 points.
And again, NC State just doing a good job of hounding that basketball. And there's the athleticism from Ezeworo.
14-13, NC State with the lead here with nearly 12 minutes to play in the first. There's a good look at NC State junior Cam Woods, who made his debut on Saturday out in Texas against Tennessee. And despite the loss, Cam Woods really was a spark plug for Coach Kevin Keats in his first game for the Pack. 9 points on 2 of 5 shooting, 2 of 2 from the three-point line, and 3 of 4 from behind the line. And it was a great debut for this guy, Bradley Ezeworo, for St. Louis as well on Saturday, as he dished in 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting from the floor against Louisiana Tech in that win.
Yeah, 2 guys that both these coaches are excited to have back. You know, obviously, the ruling of the transfer rule for them to be able to come back and play after sitting out. I know that both of these teams are excited to have them, and they're both going to be really good players going forward.
Both very versatile players as well. And Cam Woods for NC State, and now at the line Ezeworo for St. Louis, looking to bring this game to a tie, and he does, sinking the back end.
This is a little bit of zone to throw NC State off a little bit.
Nice
bit of a
pass
matchup
from DJ Burns, and you know, for a big guy, DJ Burns with good court vision, nice ball handling abilities as well. And he's got 28 assists coming into tonight's game, 2.8 average.
He's got really good patience for a bit. You know, a lot of times when defenders are digging in there or even trapping, they just want to get the ball out of their hands so quickly. DJ does a really good job of just being patient, letting the play kind of take care of itself, and then find the open guy.
DJ Burns to take another look.
And I think Casey was in good position. If he'd have just kind of fallen down, maybe he could have got the charge, but it just shows the power of Ezeworo and the athleticism to be able to, again, absorb that contact and get to the free throw line.
Ezeworo with a nice frame out of Torrance, California. He's a good free throw shooter. And St. Louis back on top now by 2, 16-14.
And again, looks like a 2-3 zone. Active feet.
DJ Horn getting set to check back in as he hands the towel off to Michael O'Connell.
And in the tape of St. Louis, they didn't show a lot of zones. So this may, NC State's got to kind of adjust on the fly because it hasn't been on film much. So just being able to adjust. And then again, just DJ being DJ. Just give it to the big fella down low and let him handle the rest.
And DJ Burns, nice footwork there. Had a good career at Winthrop, near his hometown of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Actually, in his hometown of Rock Hill, South Carolina, even though he went to York High School.
And a 10-second call again, just the tenacity of Jaden Taylor hounding the basketball, constantly turning the offensive player and just creating some of that havoc.
Burns backing in on Ezawaru. Soft hands. Comes up short.
And they're letting them play one-on-one. Coach Ford, as I'm watching him, he's kind of telling them to stay home. So obviously early on, they'll throw probably different looks at Burns. But right now, they really want to stay home and take away the three-point shooting. And there's that athleticism by Ezawaru. I saw him in the layup lines, windmilling and doing some crazy stuff. So he's one of those guys, really athletic and a big guy that can get off the floor.
Nice drive and the left-handed lay-in for Kissy Marcel.
And he's evolved so much over his time. Obviously, he starts at Virginia, comes into NC State, more of a defensive-minded guy, but shoots the ball at a high level, and especially this year, just being able to put the ball on the floor and add a couple dimensions to his game to make him a little bit harder to guard.
Had a big game against BYU out in Las Vegas. 28 points scoring the basketball for Marcel. Again, Ezawaru inside, and the Billikens really going at Burns right now down low as Ezawaru back-to-back buckets on high percentage plays. He had the big flush and now the lay-in going over DJ Burns. Ezawaru, very athletic, has a nice frame and quick feet too.
Yeah, it's the second time we've seen a really good drop pass to him. And again, he just does the work and is able to get above the rim and finish. And that little drop pass is a little underrated. A lot of people don't really think about it, being able to split the two defenders, and that's a good skill to have for all those young guys listening.
So it's Jaden Taylor at the line for NC State. Down by a deuce on the Wolfpack as John comes back onto the floor. So it looks like Travis Ford, the head coach for the Billikens, his strategy right now early, I think, is with Ezawaru is to try to keep his legs fresh, even though he just has one game under his belt. Not a lot of in-game experience, obviously, but substituting Zhang in for the second time tonight. I think he wants to make sure that Ezawaru has enough gas in the tank to last all night against DJ Burns.
Yeah, and I think he's also trying to get a feel for him. This is the first time he's been able to see him, get minutes. So he's probably just kind of taking his time, getting him in the lineup so that he could also see different lineups in the game so he could figure out the, substitution patterns that he likes.
Medley knocks it in. Back to a 2-point lead for St. Louis with their 7-5 record on a 2-game winning streak. It's another for Medley. So we come to 9 minutes to play here in the opening half. Billikens doing a good job so far of making it count at the free throw line.
Yeah, they're just being aggressive, getting to the rim, being able to draw contact, and then just finishing. Anytime you can kind of get those easy baskets, see a couple go in, it's really going to open up some things, especially from a shooting perspective in the second half.
Taylor trying to pick up the screen there from Burns. And now it's Parker Jr.
He's just a really good downhill player. He's kind of out of what I would call the freshman stage. You come in here, you're trying to figure out, what you're going to do, how you're going to fit in. And again, he just has a quick first step, draws a lot of contact and gets to the rim. So, you know, he's kind of entered that kind of sophomore stage that I would call, you know, he's understanding the game a little bit better, seeing it through a different lens than what he might have when he was in high school.
Well, Scott, you started your first game as a freshman, so how long did it take you to enter that sophomore stage? I guess in practice, your first day, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's a little bit different. You know, everybody picks up on things a little bit quicker. But I think one of the things that is going to allow him to pick it up a little bit quicker than others is just how hard he plays. He always comes out and understands, you know, I may not be the guy tonight that has the 20 like I was in high school. So just constantly bringing that energy is going to allow his game to evolve at a little bit faster pace. But I will say he'll probably take some lumps in the ACC. So once they kind of get into the meat of that conference schedule, it gets a little bit tougher.
Especially the way he likes to fly around near the basket. John at the line is a good free throw shooter. As we see there, John, who played here in the States in Atlanta, Georgia, after coming from China. He's 8 of 9 at the free throw line coming into this game. Lead is at 4 for the Billikens. Basketball with NC State. Baseline drive and quick burst of energy there for Jaden Taylor. He explodes to the basket. The 6'4" junior guard out of Fort Lauderdale. Transfer in from Butler. And just as quick on the other end for St. Louis. That's Tim Dowger with his first points of the night.
And Dowger's had some really good games this season. He's very athletic. Again, one of those guys that wants to get downhill. As Jaden Taylor gets up at 3. But he's one of those, again, another added dimension that, you know, they have those kind of 3 scores, you know, whether it's Hargrove on a night, whether it's Ezazura on a night, whether it's Jimerson on a night. He's kind of that 4th guy that can kind of make some things happen for them.
8 games in double-figure scoring, Tim Dowger, this year.
And he's really long and athletic, so he's going to be one of those guys that can defend at a high level as well.
At the buzzer. And it's an air ball there for St. Louis, unable to connect on that deep one. Travis Ford has his team in the lead, but it's just by 4. Basketball community, and especially the Atlantic Coast Conference, saddened to learn of the death of Eric Montross. And Scott Wood, he did everything the right way.
Yeah, he's just a great human being. You know, obviously it's easy to talk about being a McDonald's All-American, being a great basketball player, but he's just a genuinely great person. You know, I've seen Chris Corciani mention something on social media about being the ultimate warrior, but a better person. And I think that's ultimately what it's about. And he's going to be remembered by many being a great basketball player as well as a great person.
NC State basketball trailing by 4. Nice ball movement there as Marcel finding the sneaky cut there for NC State, coming in from Michael O'Connell to cut that lead down to 2 for the Billikens. Jimerson collecting his 3-point try. Getting the offensive rebound and keeping it alive for the Billikens is Medley with the follow.
And that's the tough one as a player. You know, NC State guards for almost 30, 35 seconds there. Pretty good defensive possession. They just got to be able to finish that with a rebound, and that'll drive the coach crazy. And again, here's where we're seeing almost they want to, you know, stay home, stay one-on-one. And DJ Burns able to get in the body of Zhang and draw the foul.
So DJ Burns will go to the line. Bruce Zhang with the personal foul. He averages 3.2 points per game. Has started a few for Travis Ford. And Burns at the free throw line. 62% free throw shooter coming into tonight's contest. Ezawaro, the game's leading scorer, already in double digits with 10, checks back on. DJ Burns scoring in double figures in 8 of 9 games for the Pack this season. A good acquisition coming from Winthrop University.
And Yard is doing a good job. You know, obviously his first minutes coming in, putting together a good defensive possession, and NC State doing what they want to do. Attack, get downhill, scoring, and maybe not transition, but because they're attacking so quick, be semi-transition.
Casey Marcel trims that lead now for St. Louis to 1. 27-26, the Billikens with the lead. Casey Marcel with a nice bucket as we headed to break has put NC State behind by 1 now to St. Louis. And, you know, talk about progression, Scott. That's the epitome right there, Casey Marcel.
Yeah, just the growth as a player. You know, obviously transferring into NC State, being primarily a defensive-minded player, being able to, you know, become a really, really good shooter for this team. He played with a Jarkel Joyner and a Traquavion Smith, being a great compliment for them to be able to knock down shots. And he's just growing each and every year. And, you know, you see him out here, and he's the first one in pregame getting shots up. So you know his hard work is paying off, and you love to see it.
Billikens with the basketball and the lead.
Here's a lot of that dribble handoff action that they get a lot of, just to kind of make the defense drop back a little bit. And again, just being athletic and attacking the basket and finishing over the bigger defender in Diarra.
Mohamed Diarra just checked in to the game for NC State. The Billikens still a 1-possession game. They lead by 3, 29-26. Burns on Ezaworo.
Yeah, I think he shuffled his feet a little bit, but I think Kevin Keats wanted him to get that ball a little bit quicker. He had better position, and then Ezaworo did a good job of kind of pushing him out a little bit there. And again, just shuffles the feet a little bit too quickly, which you don't see out of him a lot. He's usually really good when it comes to the footwork.
Meadows able to bring it across the timeline. It's good work there by O'Connell. Keep Meadows in front. Shot clock winding down to 5.
Really good job just keeping your man in front. And again, they're going to make him take a tough one here at the end.
Great perimeter defense there by NC State as the Wolfpack get the rebound from Mohamed Diarra. Still a 3-point basketball game. Diarra wanting to tie one up deep. And Billikens with the rebound.
And that's one I think you can get pretty much anytime you want. So you got to be a little bit more selective. You know, when it comes, yeah, you can get that pick and pop, especially being the first screen. You know, that's one that, you know, you wish you can get the ball moving a little bit more.
So the second foul now on DJ Burns. Let's see if that becomes a concern here in the first half for Kevin Keats. I don't think it will unless he picks up his 3rd. He's got 2 players on the bench right now with 2 fouls, and DJ Horn and MJ Rice.
I think this is one of the things that Jimerson has, you know, grown his game. You know, we talk about Casey Marcel putting in the work. The same thing with Jimerson, you know, comes in being predominantly a 3-point shooter, but now showing the growth, putting the ball on the floor, being able to get defenders to foul him and get to the line. You know, being an 86, 87% free throw shooter, that's what you got to do. Get to the line. You know, he's had, you know, double-digit free throws a couple times this year. So just showing the growth of a player, especially from, you know, when he first came in to the 8-10.
10 games this season, he has put up double-digit scoring. Graduated 2 weeks ago, and the same night had a great game against Drake. And now he's getting ready to work on his NBA.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe for him, go into the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a good enough shooter. I think he has, one more year of eligibility. I'm not sure, but he's just one of those guys that, you know, continues to grow. He loves the game. He's a gym rat. Always in there grinding. Coach Tate had many things to say about him. So he's one of those guys that just constantly works and improves each and every year.
Yeah, he took a redshirt year, so he has that extra time to work on the NBA and possibly stay with the Billikens. Middlebrooks at the line.
This is one area Jaden Taylor's really kind of turned it around. The first couple games of the season, he wasn't the predominantly, guarding the point guard, bringing up. But now, as you see, he's just a tenacious defender on the ball. So he's always picking up full court, and he's just wreaking havoc and causing many turnovers this year.
Big perimeter defense again for NC State. They trail St. Louis here at home by a couple, 31-28. Despite the 6 turnovers by the Billikens of St. Louis, they have a lead by 3 over NC State. But it's NC State who has converted all of their turnovers into points with 8 for the Wolfpack.
I think if you showed Coach Ford this graphic outside the score, he would probably think he's down. But, this is just kind of saying to them, he was Ezewiro just doing a good job of kind of keeping them in this game and keeping the lead. And a good look there by Casey, getting it there. Coach Ford coming out, trying to go zone. And Parker Jr. able to finish with the bucket.
6 points now to go along with 5 rebounds for the freshman and Parker Jr. We've also seen here in the first half for Casey Morsell and NC State, Morsell doing a good job of waiting for the shot to come to him, as he is perfect from the floor tonight. 3 for 3, has been very, very patient. Yeah,
and then Dowger on this end, just doing what he does best, being the athlete and getting downhill and finishing at the rim.
A little short on the jumper there.
I feel like St. Louis has just done just good enough job on the defensive end to just kind of keep them on the toes. NC State is typically a very aggressive team, trying to get downhill, trying to attack, but they've just slowed them up just enough to make them a little bit uncomfortable, especially on the offensive end.
Middlebrooks was hoping to draw the charge, so were the fans here at the PNC Arena. Instead, it's Billikens basketball. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Jimerson takes the inbounds pass. And Middlebrooks cleans up the glass for the Wolfpack. Open 3 all day long there for Morsell, but too strong. I think it shocked him a little bit, Scott Wood, that he was so wide open taking that pass from O'Connell.
Yeah, but again, that's just one of those looks that you're going to live with. Casey being a great shooter. O'Connell probing the defense and just taking his time and allowing Casey to kind of fill into that corner. And again, you see Parker there just being aggressive, crashing the glass and being able to create an extra possession and get to the line.
Only 1 made 3-point shot in total tonight. We're down to 2:35 remaining in the first half.
I hate to say it, that's not my type of game. I like to see a lot of threes personally.
So says the all-time leading 3-point shooter in NC State history, right?
And again, Jaden Taylor just absolutely dogging the defender. He does a good job of showing the hands. You hear the referee saying, show the hands, show the hands. So able in the chest up, the primary ball handler, and just giving him a hard time bringing it up the court.
Shot clock coming up on 5 now. And again, that perimeter defense really wreaking havoc.
I think one other person touched the ball the entire possession, but Jaden Taylor's activity just continuously following him and being able to draw the charge. You can't say enough about it. A lot of kids don't want to do that and really defend a full possession. And he's one of those guys that has really done it since the start of the beginning. And then I also think that gives him the confidence to be able to be that much aggressive on the offensive end as well.
Is it more of a mindset you have to develop?
I mean, it's just hard. You know, especially you're gonna guard really good offensive players, and especially today, there's so much skill level, especially off the bounce. So being able to turn and be able to chest up the way he does just makes him that much elite on the defensive end.
He had his shot blocked and then right back into his hands, and he's able to finish there. As you see, just great hand-eye coordination, good athleticism there. Parker, very special freshman, it looks like, for Kevin Keats right now.
Yeah, and I think Casey just kind of tripped them up a little bit. They got LJ Thomas and Casey were kind of indecision there on whether or not they were going to switch. And I think just that second gave Dagwood the time to attack, and again, just kind of trips him up from behind.
So going to the free throw line for St. Louis is the 64% free throw shooter, Tim Dowger, 6'7" senior forward from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, played at Tulsa before joining the Billikens. And very quietly for St. Louis here, he's had 8 games where he has finished in double-digit scoring. Just a 2-point lead for St. Louis with under a minute and a half to play before halftime.
Again, there's some of that ice, keeping the ball down towards the baseline and not allowing them to come off the pick and roll, which they're, you know, one of the things on offense that NC State really likes to do.
Under a minute to go now. Again, harassing defense for NC State along the perimeter, and it works for Coach Kevin Keats.
Yeah, last 2 or 3 possessions, able to take the charge, get downhill, and Casey does a really good job of getting his feet set and absorbing the contact.
Timeout on the floor. With 49.9 seconds remaining, it is St. Louis in a tight win here in Raleigh. They lead by 2, 34-32. Head coach Travis Ford for St. Louis in his team's huddle. St. Louis with a 34-32 lead here in Raleigh on NC State. It's the Atlantic 10 and the Atlantic Coast Conference tonight. And Kevin Keats, I think, has gotten good minutes tonight and maybe a glimpse into the future of what could be a great career. I know it's early to say, but the freshman Dennis Parker, he's a lively one.
Yeah, it's been a little bit slow game, especially from a scoring perspective for, you know, NC State's offense, not being able to get those easy ones and get out in transition like they are. But again, Dennis Parker just doing a good job being able to create some extra possessions, offensive rebounds, and attacking downhill.
Jaden Taylor drawing contact. 2-point Billikens lead with 37.2 remaining. 17 seconds of the shot clock here for the inbounds. Pulling the trigger will be LJ Thomas. NC State and St. Louis right now with a little quicker lineup on the floor, I think.
Casey's just doing a good job of being smart, attacking, understanding that both teams are in the double bonus already. That's just being a smart veteran guard, understanding that, you know, as soon as someone puts the hand in there, just being able to draw contact, and him being a good free throw shooter, get to the line.
Casey Morcell, 74% free throw shooter for NC State. Opportunity to even this game here. 22 total fouls for both teams here tonight early.
Everybody's just a little bit slower being on winter break, so I expect a much more quick, fast-paced, hands a little bit less active on the body in the second half.
The lead is at 1 as Morcell connects on the back end. Breon Pass coming onto the floor now. Number 10, the junior guard from Reidsville, North Carolina. First minutes, first action rather, we'll see from Breon Pass. So we go below 20 seconds. Just a 1-point St. Louis lead. Now 2-second differential on the shot clock and the game clock.
That's just a tough finish.
Big high arcing finish there for Meadows, beating that tough, tenacious perimeter defense.
Yeah, Middlebrooks does a really good job being long and athletic, but Meadows just doing a better job finishing over, and sometimes, good offense beats good defense.
36-33. It is a close one here in Raleigh, North Carolina. St. Louis with the 36-33 lead over NC State. Welcome back to Raleigh, North Carolina, and the PNC Arena, where the St. Louis Billikens have been jumping rope on NC State right now, but it's only a 3-point lead, one possession game for the Billikens. That's pretty impressive, Scott Wood. I think you can still do that.
I don't think my knees or my shoulders would allow me to do a push-up like that right now. So hopefully we can get some excitement here in the second half like they gave us during the halftime.
36-33, St. Louis with the lead. Welcome back, everybody, here at the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've got the ACC, we've got the A10. We've got some newcomers making some waves here tonight. Hello again, everybody. I am Birch Antley, along with my broadcast partner here, Scott Wood. And Scott, the newcomers, the fresh faces, really making a splash here tonight so far at the PNC Arena for the Billikens. They've got Ezawaro, who's making only his second appearance this season. Now, on the other side for NC State, Parker as a true freshman, the only true freshman on this roster for Coach Kevin Keats. It's not his first appearance. He's been making waves really kind of all season long, but he's going to be a very special player.
Yeah, and they're both doing it in similar ways. 10 points, 6 rebounds, I think, for Ezawiro there. And then you got, obviously, Dennis Parker, 8 points, 6 rebounds as well. And then he's doing it from the offensive rebound. So being able to attack. And then Ezawiro is just one of those guys, they're glad to have him back. Everybody's back in position. Big physical, athletic presence down low that brings St. Louis to a different level. And then Dennis Parker Jr. coming in here, being an athlete. He's a downhill guy and brings energy. Being able to get those offensive rebounds, attack the glass, and create those extra possessions for the Wolfpack.
He's a hard worker, especially underneath the basket. As you see Parker getting the bucket there, and again, Parker, beautiful play here as he had that shot denied by Hargrove Jr., but right back into his hands, no hesitation. He goes right back up with it.
Yeah, and they're two guys just kind of keeping their, club in the ball game right now. It's kind of been one of those tough ones. Not great shooting by either team right now. So being able to get those second chance points as well as getting those paint points.
Yeah, we've got more, or the same amount, I believe, of goaltending violations as we do three-pointers. The teams are combined 1 for 13 from behind the arc here at the PNC, and that one was made early in the game by Terrence Hargrove Jr. for St. Louis.
We'll blame it on the broadcasting curse of us talking about how elite 2 shooters were.
That's right.
And then we come in here to a struggle early on in shooting. But I expect better things in the second half by both teams.
The flip sides of the floor is attacking the goal to the right of your screen will be DJ Burns in white and the rest of the Wolfpack.
And that's one of the things Coach Ford has done a really good job, especially coming out of timeouts, coming out of the half. He's coming to a zone. So, a lot of times coaches, especially when they're in their halftime, drawing up their next play, they're drawing up for a man-to-man. And then Coach Ford comes out in zone, and it just kind of throws NC State a little bit off. But a good job by Dennis Parker being able to attack that baseline, dumping it down to DJ Burns and getting him to the line.
A rather quiet first half for DJ Burns, considering the reference of work that he has put in so far this season. Graduate transfer from Winthrop.
And I think him, DJ Horn, MJ Rice getting in a little bit of foul trouble early, not being able to get a good flow. So expect them to kind of come out here and get a much better flow than they did in the first half, especially being in foul trouble.
7 points now after the free throws for DJ Burns Jr. Three of the Wolfpack, as you mentioned, Scott, with 2 fouls each in the first half. Burns, Horn, and MJ Rice.
And St. Louis doing a good job being patient, finding the smaller Horn on Dagler and being able to take, you know, a good position down low to post.
Parker Jr. unable to connect on that three-point shot. As the Wolfpack have yet to hit one, now 0 for 8 behind the arc. And another missed three-pointer is that time coming out off the hands of St. Louis, and a guy that normally hits those in Gibson Jimerson. And finally, NC State gets off the island of misfit toys from behind the arc. They hit their first three-pointer of the game and gets a nice response here from the crowd at the PNC.
Maybe a little bit of a sarcastic clap, but again, just a good job, Casey. It's what he does. You know, it's hard to keep those really good three-point shooters down, especially when they have a little bit of confidence. And they've done a really good job so far in Jimerson, just holding them to 2 points and making them take some tough contested ones.
Straight away look was Hargrove. It's NC State basketball after the miss. And we're tied here, 38-38. But counted, banging down the three is DJ Horn. And NC State takes the lead, 41-38. After a paltry start for NC State from behind the three-point line in the first half, where they just couldn't buy one, it's a 2-for-1 show here for NC State in the second half.
Yeah, both times the defender going under the screen and being 2 of the better three-point shooters on the NC State roster. That's a big mistake. You know, obviously they haven't made a lot of threes during this game, but that might open the floodgates for them, and obviously causing St. Louis to take the timeout. Now NC State getting a little bit more confidence, especially from deep.
So NC State with the lead for the second time in this contest, 41-38. They had the lead for just 17 seconds in the first half. It's been nip and tuck all game long, really. It's a good matchup down low, and it's Ezawaro who will take it again over DJ Burns. And Ezawaro, who got 10 points quickly in the first half and then faded out a little bit, gets his first bucket of the second.
And that's where I tell DJ to really kind of shade him on that right shoulder. He's really looking to get that left-hand hook, so trying to be able to force him back to the middle to finish over the left shoulder.
DJ Horn, defender in his face, launching that three-pointer. I think that's one he would like to have back, but the ball will remain with the Wolfpack with 20 seconds in the shot clock.
We could probably call it a heat check. It's one of the first threes we've had, so he's just coming back up and getting it up. And it looks like somebody got a technical foul, but I'm not sure who he called it on. Maybe DJ Burns.
So it's DJ Burns, yes, indeed, that will get teed up here. And Kevin Keats looking a little puzzled.
I think DJ just got a little bit frustrated, obviously. Ezawaro scoring on one end and then on the other end thinking that he got a foul, giving the referee a little bit of peace of his mind.
So Gibson Jimerson at the free throw line, 85% shooter. Let's see what 30 does. A
little bit of a wave off, and I'm sure he's been warned maybe a couple times tonight. So just, you know, sometimes you just can't show up the referee.
So DJ Burns will be on the bench here with 17-21 remaining in this basketball game. In foul trouble.
And I would tell you my angle there looked pretty clean. He might have had his left hand on his hip, but that one looked pretty clean. Yeah, that's not a foul. That's just good defense.
That was really, really good defense from NC State. And we've been raving about Jaden Taylor's defensive ability all night long. Showing it again there, especially his lateral movement, but being called for the foul. And here it goes again, knocking it away, but it will remain with the Billikens. Good vision by Medley. And St. Louis with the lead now, 44-41.
St. Louis is just doing a really good job. NC State goes on a run, makes back-to-back threes, just making some plays to keep them right in front. So good job by them. You know, it's gotten ugly at times, like deflections there and some things like that, but they're doing a good job of just staying the course, staying with the game plan, and staying in the game.
Nice long-range jumper there by Casey Morcell. He's starting to get that shot dialed in now here in the second half.
Again, that's one of the things that he's really added to his game, being able to put the ball on the floor and rise up for a jump shot or even get all the way to the rim.
St. Louis with the lead by 1. Ezawaru.
That was a good play by St. Louis, being able to get to Ezawaru. 2 feet, catches it inside the semicircle, and anytime he catches it in there, I don't care who's guarding him. That's going to be tough to get a stop.
Leading all scorers in this game now, Ezawaru with 14 points in just his second game of the year. Millbrooks, straightaway 3. Off the front rim, going high for the rebound is St. Louis and Terrence Hargrove, but he's going to be whistled. We're going to break with St. Louis ahead by 3, 46-43.
And right here is one of the big reasons why St. Louis is in the lead right now. Icing the ball screen. They understand that the bigs of NC State are not a threat. So being able to send the ball baseline, not let them come off the screen, and they are going to live with the middle pitch threes. 0 for 7 on the year. DJ Burns doesn't take a lot of threes, so being able to allow the offensive player go away from the screen and not creating any type of an advantage.
Horn, off-balance shot.
And I think a lot of it is just the struggle, being in foul trouble in the first half. So again, just trying to get back in that flow of the game. You know, you're sitting on that bench for a while, and then as soon as you come back in, you know, you want to make a play and get impact on the game. So just trying to get that flow and that rhythm again. And again, nobody's paying attention. We've got action on the offside, and Meadows just doing a good job of getting to the rim and finishing.
So the lead to 5 now for St. Louis is NC State falling asleep there on defense. Morcell backs up behind the three-point line and makes the second of the game. Casey Morcell cuts the lead to 2, 48-46.
And that's one of those timeouts that Kevin Keats takes out of frustration. Nobody's looking at the ball, so a straight line drive, being able to finish. And then you see Kevin Keats laying into all of his guys saying, somebody pay attention. We got to be ready to play. You cannot give up those easy buckets like that, especially when you're in a tight game, and this one might come down to the wire.
And Kevin Keats went at the freshman first.
And that's usually the case. And he probably ended up being the low one, so he's got to be in the help side. But again, you always got to have vision, and you always got to see the ball. And again, if St. Louis is doing a really good job, they're really targeting Dowger, being a 6'7", being a physical guy down low. And then you got a Casey Morcell who is on him now. And then you have the DJ Horn who's been on him. Being able to attack down low when he's in the post is a clear advantage that they're trying to expose, especially in the second half.
So Tim Dowder with a quiet 11 points in double figures for St. Louis now in his 9th game in double-digit scoring. He's got a dozen after that free throw. The 6'7" senior forward transferred in from Tulsa. Makes it a 2-possession game now, as the Billikens put the lead at 4. Horn, open 3 from the right wing. Count it.
And that's a good play. Really good defense by St. Louis for most of the possession. But Jaden Taylor just doing a really good job getting the paint touch, seeing the defense is sinking in and finding DJ Horn, who's been hot over the last 4 games for him.
NC State follows that 3 quickly with the press. Meadows across the timeline, being guarded by Jaden Taylor. Knocked away by Middlebrooks. Back into the hands of the Billikens, and that forces Jimerson into a long distance 3, and it's collected by Middlebrooks for NC State with a chance to reclaim the lead. Taylor off the mark, high for the rebound is Ezawaro.
And you get the crowd into it. They're starting to try and pick them up a little bit. And again, that's one, if I'm Jaden Taylor, especially in the break and not anybody down there, just attack, get to the rim, maybe get to the line, kind of keep this momentum going.
Taken away.
And here they go again, same thing, push it, try to get ahead, get a paint touch, and then if they collapse, that's when we're gonna kick it out for the 3.
Orcel off the screen. Big hustle play there again from Parker.
And these are the things on a stat sheet. He doesn't necessarily get the offensive rebound or anything like that, but just the activity of understanding I'm going to crash this glass, and if I don't get it, I may be able to, you know, create contact and get the foul like he does there. But again, it's that extra possession. Anytime you're in a game, it's a 1-point game. If we get down the stretch, you know, and all of a sudden you got a shot to win the game and you hit it, you know, nobody looks back and says, okay, with 13 minutes to go, that's an extra possession. But those are the kind of things that win basketball games.
Middlebrooks trying to bounce in on John and draws the contact, but unable to set up the 3-point play.
And that's something St. Louis has done, you know, the whole game, whether it's DJ Burns, Middlebrooks, all those post catches, they've said, you know what, let's take away NC State's 3-point shooting and allow them to play one-on-one. So being able to draw the foul, maybe get 2 here, good job by Middlebrooks being patient.
Middlebrooks, 72% free throw shooter, unable to connect on the first. Try and tie here with the second.
Yeah, Coach Ford's going to sub him out. Again, this is just one of those mistakes you just can't make as a player. You can't walk it up. You got to push it, get it across the timeline. You know, we talk about Dennis Parker Jr. creating extra possessions. That's taking an extra possession away from your team. That's the opportunity to get 2-3 points on the board in a clutch game. You got to be able to get that across. Have a little bit more sense of urgency, especially in a 1-point game.
Horn driving in and gets it to roll down.
I think he called it on the floor.
So it's Medley's first foul. Meadows will check back onto the floor, taking the place of Medley. Here's Burns. Gets it off the square, taking advantage of the freshman Zhang. It puts NC State ahead by 1.
And I know Zong's 7 foot and a big body in there, but again, if you're going to let DJ Burns get 2 feet in that paint, you're going to have a long night. And again, Jaden Taylor just being a menace on the ball, doing a great job of pressuring and contesting at the end and creating the turnover.
Great play by Jaden Taylor. So NC State with a 1-point lead, trying to add to that. Burns kicks it out to Horn, wide open 3, yes! DJ Horn from DJ Burns on the 1s and 2s. NC State with a 4-point lead, 54-50.
And this is why we call DJ Burns the point center. They haven't sent a trap the whole game. Hughes comes in, they collapse. DJ Horn's ready with his feet set. Great look there by DJ Burns.
DJ Burns and NC State now with a 4-point lead. And how about DJ Horn here in the second half from the land of the deep ball? NC State in the first period had nothing. They were 0 for 8, but they have turned that around here in the second. Now 5 of 9 on three-point shooting in the second period, and getting 3 of those is DJ Horn, including the last one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it starts with DJ Burns being able to get the deep post touch, get the bucket. Then after he gets the bucket, the trap comes, then he gets that DJ to DJ connection. And the big fella's asking for it again.
Gonna backhand hard on Ezawaro. "11 minutes to play in this game. It's a 2-possession lead for NC State by 4.
And again, that's just a tough one. You know, Meadows is the only one that touches it, and you play good defense, but again, you kind of just, he gets you on the hip and is able to finish it again. But again, just got to be able to turn that defender maybe one more time.
Meadows with 6 points now. Burns underneath. Nicely done against Ezawaro. DJ Burns in double figures now with 11.
And I think you see, you know, NC State's basically saying, we have not been able to get much going from the arc. You know, so let's get the ball into the big fella, let him be able to make some plays.
So DJ Burns, 11 points. So he's in double-digit scoring now for the 9th time, or 10th time rather, this season. That corner trap works to perfection. Horn trying to dial up another, yes. DJ Horn hanging the mistletoe over his head as he has really gotten hot here in the second period. 4 3-pointers, 4 of 6 from the three-point line, and it's the largest lead now of the game for the Wolfpack, 59-52 at 7.
And that's NC State. When they're at their best, being able to get to a trap, be able to create the turnover, and then knock something down. And again, doing a good job getting that trap deep. Woods comes across, be able to create the turnover. Then again, the extra pass to the corner, and DJ Horn starting to feel it and knocks it down from the corner.
Second time here tonight that NC State here in the second half, second period, has created a turnover and then knocked down a 3 immediately after. Missing the back end is Gibson Jimerson.
Here they go back to a little bit of zone just to throw them off balance again, keep them on their toes. Now it looks like they match up back to man. So again, they're just mixing it up. They kind of start in that 2-3 action, then go back to that matchup, just trying to keep NC State from being comfortable.
6-point lead for Kevin Keats. So we look at Burns drawing the contact there from Ezawaro.
I think Ezawaro just right before he shoots kind of gets his second hand on. They kind of allow the alarm bar for a while, but as soon as you get that second hand on, they're going to call that all day.
Third foul for Ezawaro. Just his second game of the season. Burns.
He might be a big fella, but he's light on the feet. Great spin, move, and finish.
8-point lead for NC State. Morcell on defense, wreaking havoc on Meadows. He's able to call the timeout and stop the clock with 9:02 remaining in this ball game. And NC State, Scott Wood, the difference maker in the three-point, or has been the three-point shot for NC State here in the second period. That stingy defense.
Yeah, outside of the first two at the beginning of the second half when they came off ball screens, the rest of it has came from one turnover and then DJ Burns. Just DJ getting into the paint, and now all of a sudden the defense is getting a little bit more attention to him. So being able to create those passing lanes and knock down some easy ones by going inside to out.
DJ Horn has 4 3-pointers here in the second half to propel the Wolfpack into the lead. They lead 61-53 as we take a look at Burns to Horn for one. They'll do it again.
And all these, they're kind of getting that inside out going. Again, we're getting a paint touch. They kick it. Jaden just hit them on one. And then you get DJ Burns there. And then obviously the last one, they get the trap in the corner and they make that extra pass to the corner. We talked about him, being one of the big time players, especially these last 4 games. Really getting some things going. I think the first half, having those 2 fouls kind of got him out of the flow a little bit. But now he finally starting to get in rhythm, and he's kind of turning the tables for the Wolfpack, getting them back in the lead.
16 points on 4 of 6 shooting from behind the arc. In the first half, the two teams combined for only 1 3-point shot made out of 13 tries. In the second half, the Billikens haven't found much success, but boy, had the Wolfpack.
And I think this is where Coach Ford, he comes out of that timeout, just tells them, look, there's a lot of time left. We've got 9 minutes to go, but we got to start taking care of the ball, be able to get in our offense. NC State's pushing their offense too far out. Get some good possessions and start to defend a little bit better. Stay on the 2 DJs who have really hurt them in the second half.
NC State comes up with another stop, and they almost get the drop there from Horn. DJ Burns trying to keep it alive, but it's taken away by Dowger. Good patience for Gibson Jimerson.
And Dowger just doing a good job pushing the pace, understanding that he couldn't get to the rim and dropping that off. And Jimerson doing a good job not quitting on the play and following Dowger for the easy bucket.
Nice cut there by NC State and Michael O'Connell, and a good feed, good recognition there from DJ Burns. That's how you draw it up in basketball camp.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to go double team him, you got to move on the other side. Keep those defenders occupied. And they did a good job of setting a little bit of a rub screen there. And O'Connell just understanding the defenders chasing, being able to curl, and DJ being the great passer that he is, finding them on that cut.
Dowger misses left, and NC State leading 63-55, courtesy of some stingy defense and some good shooting from downtown. As we take a look at your game summary with NC State ahead now 63-55, it's been those 3-point shots here in the second period for North Carolina State. They found them able to drop when they were unable to do so in the first period, but they've got 6 here in the second, and they have really done a good job of forcing those turnovers and then taking those into points.
Yeah, and I think those 21 points off turnovers to 0 is just killer. I think the 2 DJs have really kind of sparked this Wolfpack team, especially in the second half, and they've really gotten them going. So just the patience to stay with it and continuously trying to turn that basketball over has just allowed State to really gain this lead.
And State with 22 more shot attempts than the Billies right now. Another stop for NC State as a turnover committed by Jimerson.
And now 14 turnovers. You know, they did a good job in the first 7 minutes of not turning over the basketball, but here, especially in the second half, are just one too many. You know, you got to be able to stay in this game. Still a lot of time left, but you got to do it by taking care of the basketball.
And NC State will throw it away, committing a turnover of their own.
I think DJ Horn thought he was throwing that to Victor Wembanyama there. Yeah, about took some people out in the first row.
Shot clock coming up on 10. Another stop for NC State. Morcell wants to dial up a three of his own. He gets it off the dribble. J.C. Morcell on the assist from DJ Horn. That's Morcell's third three-pointer here in the second period.
And that's why I think Medley, just being a freshman, 2 back-to-back turnovers. Medley brings it down. I felt like he had Dagler in the post against DJ Horn again, a matchup that they've exposed a couple times in the second half. Just give it to him. And then instead he makes a play, turns it over, and then comes right back and turns it over. That's just kind of being a freshman and understanding the game. You got to give it to your man there and let him go to work.
That's 4 consecutive stops that NC State has put on St. Louis. Back-to-back steals as Horn gets it to Morcell, and he likes it at the 3. And then Horn again, this time he's going to take it himself.
Yeah, and this is just how you do it. This is NC State when they're at their best, just being able to get out in transition. Again, we talked about the 21-0, you know, points off of turnovers. Now there, they hit another 3, so they're at 24-26. So again, it's hard to win a ball game when you're giving up 26 points off of the times you turn it over. I'd much rather, you know, you throw it out of bounds so the other team doesn't have a live ball turnover coming back and have the opportunity to score.
And that's 3 times tonight here in the second period that NC State has had the takeaway on the steal and then the trifecta with the three-pointer immediately after. Middlebrooks wide open, crams it down.
And again, just a little bit of miscue. I think Ezequiel thought he was trapping, and nobody else thought they were trapping. So a miscommunication that leads to an easy dunk by Middlebrooks.
Ezequiel, too strong, holding his feet. Middlebrooks. And that's going to be Ezequiel with his 4th personal foul.
Yeah, and Middlebrooks just doing a good job of standing his ground and understand that Ezequiel is a strong guy and absorb the contact and just kind of fall down. Sell it the best you can.
Morcell, give him 4. Morcell and Horn hot from the three-point line here in the second period for NC State, and they're starting to walk away with it now. That lead even more extended at 73-57 with 5 minutes to play.
And they're doing it on this end. They're just getting those stops. They're creating the turnovers, taking charges, and then just finding and making the right play, especially when they know St. Louis has to ramp up the pressure a little bit and get the easy buckets.
Hargrove able to get in and stop Horn. Let's take a look in transition. O'Connell, nice bounce pass there. Morcell having to go back and get it actually, and then able to get his shoulder square to the basket and knock down the 3, his 4th of the night.
I always said there was no such thing as a bad pass as long as it got to my hands. As long as you still give me an opportunity to shoot, there's no such thing. But again, just making the right play in transition and finding the hot man.
75-57, the lead with NC State, all with the Billikens of St. Louis. ACC and Atlantic 10 matchup here tonight in Raleigh.
And I think when St. Louis goes back and kind of watches some of this game film, they'll realize, look, Dowger had some good mismatches throughout this game, whether it was in the post, getting downhill, you know, being able to find that mismatch, you know, make the game a little bit easier on yourself. He's had a really good second half here, so just being able to utilize him a little bit more is something I think once they go back and watch that game film, they'll say, hey, let's take advantage of that mismatch.
Tim Duggar at the line, the 64% free throw shooter.
Here's a little bit of a 1-3-1, trying to maybe force a deflection or a turnover. And State doing a really good job of moving the basketball, finding the guy that's made a ton.
Middlebrooks keeping it alive with the offensive rebound. O'Connell back to Middlebrooks. He wants a straight up three, and that's his first collegiate three-pointer.
Well, we said he was 0 for 8, so he heard us say it and made the point to say, hey, I'm a good three-point shooter too. So getting in on the action, I always said it's contagious. You know, sometimes it's, you know, missing free throws and then the roster misses a few free throws, but also making threes. It's very, very contagious. As soon as you see a couple go in, you see a teammate make a couple, and even Middlebrooks, a guy that was 0 for 8 on the year, able to knock one down at the top with a great pass from O'Connell.
Well, after trailing St. Louis by 3 at the half, Casey Morsell and NC State, they have really used the 3 to their benefit in the second period.
Yeah, 21 points. Second time this year going over 20 points, 6th time in his career. 8 of 11 shooting, 4-6 from the three-point line. Again, a little bit of a slow start for the Wolfpack, but again, it's contagious. See a couple go in, and then the floodgates are open.
NC State 0 for 8 in the first period with a three-point shot. In the second period, 9 for 15. St. Louis really struggling. Three-point percentage under 10% at 9 as they are 1 for 11 in this ballgame.
And O'Connell doing some dirty work, taking a good charge. I was never a guy that wanted to put my body in there. I was not good with bruises the next day. But NC State's done a really good job tonight, taking some charges and sacrificing the body.
78-59 your score with 3:40 and counting remaining here in the ball game. As Awaro tips it right into the hands of Dennis Parker. NC State keeps it alive, but under 10 on the shot clock. Now 5. And as Awaro collects the miss. St. Louis, Scott, they have struggled mightily tonight from behind the three-point line. You got to think that that might be a factor coming down the stretch here. As they trail 78-61, they're going to need some big baskets.
Yeah, and I think obviously NC State's got to get credit. They did a good job of Gibson Jimerson, their leading scorer. 1 of 8 on the day. He's done most of his work from the free throw line, being 5 of 6 from the free throw line. But it's also turning them over. I think NC State kind of turned them over, especially in the second half, and getting those points off turnovers and just being able to capitalize off of it.
Middlebrooks gets the lay-in over Awaro. Middlebrooks for 5 points. Here's a good finish by Hargrove. Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the game, NC State matching their largest lead of the game. 17 points. Morsell really being banged by Dowger. Third foul on Dowger. Ernest Ross checking in. The 6'9" junior, fan favorite out of Alachula, Florida. And Morsell getting a nice round of applause for his effort going to the free throw line. We talked about the progression for Morsell and how he has developed, and tonight can, especially the second period, can continue to go a long way building his confidence.
Yeah, obviously, you know, scoring over 20 points is awesome, but also doing some other stuff, you know, just starting to put that ball on the floor a little bit more, creating some angles, sharing the basketball with others. And then, one of the things that we haven't really talked about is how good of a defender he is. He had the matchup with Jimerson most of the night. Now, obviously, NC State did a lot of switching, so a lot of guys saw him. But he's one of the main reasons and being one of the main antagonists to really slow down Jimerson tonight.
Ernest Ross straight away. Going high for the rebound on the other end of St. Louis, and Hughes. So the final game for NC State of the year will be in a few days. A 1 p.m. start here in Raleigh against Detroit. And then once the new year arrives, you hit the road and go up to Notre Dame.
Yeah, both teams are getting ready to get into the bulk of their season. St. Louis heading into the A-10 for their next matchup, and NC State trying to prepare to head into the tough ACC. So both teams are trying to get a feel. Obviously, they've got a few players coming back. Obviously, Cam Woods is one of them. MJ Rice is another. And then on St. Louis side, Ezeguero's another one. They're trying to implement him into the office. They're trying to get used to it. A lot of the team hasn't played games with him yet this year, so they're still trying to figure out some lineups. I think they'll have some good things to look at on tape to get a little bit better, and they want to be playing their best ball once they get to the beginning of that A-10 schedule.
Yeah, and they hope to get Sincere Parker back by then, who suffered a foot injury in the fourth game of the season against Wyoming. He was, at that time, averaging 17 points a game and was the Billikens' leading scorer.
Yeah, another one, leading scorer, goes down. So, again, a lot of adversity, especially for St. Louis early in the season, but I think you're going to see them bounce back. I really like the roster and the pieces they have in place. They're just still trying to figure each other out.
After that tip in, it's 82-67. NC State with the lead and the basketball as we go under a minute to play.
That's what you love to see. Gallagher on this end, fighting, gets the block shot. They keep it in bounds and just pushing it, regardless of what the score is. Just keep playing, play hard, continue to finish this thing out.
And here's the fellow who finished it out for St. Louis on Saturday against Louisiana Tech. At the end of that game, with 25 seconds left, he scored 11 points to propel them to that 1-point lead. L.J. Thomas. Hughes with the takeaway. And a big finish for Larry Hughes II.
Big time dunk.
NC State, 12-point lead. We go under 30 seconds to play. And some more substitutions coming in as we take another look at the steal and the slam here from Larry Hughes II.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say his dad's not that athletic. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that is a powerful finish. Getting in the passing lane, getting out in transition, and even a little bit of contact there. Just finishing. But I think that's one of the things, NC State coming off of a loss to Tennessee, coming in here tonight, and just they didn't have their best stuff in the first half. They kind of weathered the storm, a little bit of foul trouble, but then they come in the second half, really start to make some shots, get in a comfort zone. Same thing with St. Louis. I think it's going to give them some good things to go back and watch on film. Some guys finally moving to the positions that they want them to play now that they're getting some guys back. So they're going to be heading into the A-10, feeling a little bit better. Obviously, you don't want this loss, but at the same time, it's good film to go back and watch and correct some things.
Getting their 8th win of the season, NC State going to 8-3 with a 12-point win over St. Louis, who falls to 7-6, and getting 8 3-pointers in the second period from DJ Horn and Casey Morcell as NC State pulls it away in the second period to get the win. From Raleigh, North Carolina, for my entire crew, for my wonderful broadcast partner, Scott Wood, I am Birch Antley saying so long from the PNC Center. We'll talk to you next time.